I was frantic, running up and down the pier.
She is the daughter-in-law of Lord Ashcroft. Jasmine Hartin has now been charged with manslaughter.
The deceased is dead. He cannot speak for himself. Dead man carries no tail.
Henry was my friend. That was an accident, terrible accident. It will haunt me for the rest of my life. Freedom is at stake. My relationship with my children is at stake.
Why won't you let me see the kids, Andrew?
Her partner, Andrew Ashcroft, son of a British billionaire.
They own the bank. They own the newspapers. They own the economy of this country.
Do you have a finger around the trigger?
Not that I thought.
That's the most stupidest comment I've ever heard.
I'm definitely not a murderer.
Wild, crazy party girl that's hanging from rafters. That's not it at all.
Yes, she have sent me a number of disturbing messages. Yes.
He should be charged for murder.
Murder. Murder.
I'm not a murderer. That's ridiculous.
She told two different versions of what happened.
She gave so many stories, so who knows when she's telling the truth.
Today I want to talk about Jasmine Hartin and Henry Jamot. You see, Jasmine shot and killed Henry. She says it was an accident. His family say it was murder. And she was a wealthy socialite and he was a high-ranking police officer. Apparently they were friends, but some people say they may have been more than that. There were no witnesses the night Jasmine killed Henry. The details in this case are wild, and it's like there's so many twists and turns, and every time you think it can't get crazier, it does. I'm pretty sure they're going to turn this into a movie. It's kind of hard to know what to believe. Some people, you know, they think that she's completely innocent and this was a horrible accident. A lot of other people think she's a murderer or she did it on purpose. So I want to do what I usually do on my channel, which is I want to give you guys the facts, then we'll discuss the theories, and then you can decide for yourself. Hi guys, this video is sponsored by Lumino. Lumino are a line of teeth whitening products that actually support your gut health and your oral microbiome, and also through that your immune system. Well, let me explain. Did you know that 98% of the bacteria that's in your mouth is actually good bacteria? Only 2% of the bacteria in your mouth is bad bacteria. But the traditional whitening strips, they kill 99.9% of the bacteria in your mouth. But with Lumino, they don't kill the bacteria in your mouth. They use all natural ingredients that support your oral microbiome. So if you're like me and you have a coffee addiction, then you might have looked in the mirror at one point and said, whoa, my teeth are yellow. I need to whiten my teeth. They have the toothpaste and they have the mouthwash, which I've used both. And of course they have their whitening strips. Quite easy to apply. You keep this on for 30 minutes. You talk like this, you live your life, you do things, and then your teeth are white. So if you're interested, click the link in the description to get 20% off the 7-pack of teeth whitening strips. Thank you so much to Lumino for supporting my channel. Okay, so the whole thing started, it was a full moon past midnight on May 28th, 2021. This was in Belize, and Jasmine was pacing on the pier of her luxury condo, and she was covered in blood. Just earlier, nearby security guards heard a loud bang coming from that area. So they go there, and when they go there, they see that Jasmine is on the pier, and the police officer, Henry Jamot, he is floating in the water about 30 feet away from her, and he was dead. He died from a single gunshot wound to the back of the head. It was actually behind his ear, his right ear. The bullet that was in his head was from his own gun. It was his service gun that he used as a police officer. It was a Glock 17. So Jasmine is taken to the police for questioning, and at first she says that there was a boat that came by and someone from the boat shot and killed Henry. Then, according to police, she stopped cooperating. She ends up hiring a lawyer, but not just any lawyer, the former Attorney General of Belize, the country she's in. So she's like, you know, like the best lawyer she could hire. And that's when her story changes. Now, according to police, she was confronted or threatened with a charge of cocaine possession. And that's why she started talking. But that's up for debate because she denies it. But now she had another story. Instead of a boat coming by and someone from the boat shooting Henry, she was the one who shot Henry, but it was an accident. She claims that Henry was training her how to use the gun, and she was also giving him a shoulder massage, but they were just friends. The shoulder massage was because he went fishing earlier that day and it was sore, and somehow after the massage, while she's loading the gun, she's trying to pass it to him, it goes off and it hits him in the back of the right ear. Okay, that's what she said. So immediately when people heard about the massage, they were like, what's going on? Because Henry had a fiance, and I totally blanked. Jasmine she had a common law husband, not just any guy. We'll talk about her husband and his father and the whole thing a little bit later, but she was in a relationship and so was he. They had a bottle of wine. It's dark, it's past midnight. They're doing something with this gun, and all of a sudden she's giving him a massage, and now he's dead and he's floating in the ocean. It's like, what's going on? Or the sea, should I say. Now, although they were both in a relationship, they were having trouble. There was a Facebook post that Henry made.
I saw on Facebook, he posted something on Facebook about like, I'm single or something, I think on like the Monday or Tuesday. And then he said he wanted to come to San Pedro to blow off some steam, asked if I could get him a unit. So I booked him in Unit 1 at Grand Colony. And he said he was coming with a friend and he was just he had a couple days off. He didn't mention anything about the breakup at that point. I figured if he wanted to talk about it, he would.
And it was a day after he checked into the hotel where he went fishing with his best friend. Okay, his best friend is called Francisco Pani Arceo. And Pani says that Henry was really happy that night, the night he got shot. And he said that he asked him what he was doing and that Henry said he was going on a date. And when his friend asked him with who, he said, quote, "That one, I am taking it to my grave." Interesting. So what is going on between Henry and Jasmine? I don't know. But according to Jasmine, no, they were friends and nothing more. Jasmine and her common law husband and the father of her children, they were on and off a lot. And I guess at this time they were kind of off. Although she claims that her husband was supposed to come with them, and it was originally all three of them supposed to hang out, but that her husband decided not to come and she went anyway. So let's talk about her husband. Her husband is Andrew Ashcroft, the son, the youngest son of billionaire Lord Ashcroft, who is a very wealthy man in the United Kingdom, very powerful, but also he's even more powerful in Belize. He has a dual citizenship. He was the ambassador of Belize to the United Nations. He owns newspapers, hotels, banks. He donated like a fully equipped gym to the police department. Like anyone there, they know about the Ashcroft family and their influence in the area. And she is the common law wife of his youngest son. And they both live in Belize. They own a hotel there, which Jasmine owns like 10% of that hotel. Is she gonna face justice because the family, they're so powerful and all this? But what happened, nobody could predict. So let's talk about how Jasmine met Andrew, because Jasmine moved, she's actually Canadian, but she moved to Belize in 2014. And she was living there. A year after she moved there, she met Andrew. When she met Andrew, her whole life changed. They basically own a lot of things in Belize, and so she kind of becomes part of that. And everyone basically said that Jasmine was a party girl. She liked to drink. Some people say she did coke, and that's going to become a factor into this. We'll talk about it later. As for Henry, Henry was well known in Belize too. He had 5 kids when he died. He had a lot of sisters, and they were really upset about it. He was really well connected in the community. Everyone respected him. So it was like the whole community was really upset that he was shot and killed, and they kind of were wondering if Jasmine was ever going to face justice. The current police chief, he came out and he said that we're going to treat this like any other case and any other person. We're not going to do special treatment.
We were going to do our investigation as impartial as we possibly can, that there was going to be no special treatment afforded to her. Her social status should not affect how she is to be treated.
And also, what was going on between Henry and Jasmine? Well, according to Jasmine, he was actually her protector. And the reason why they were handling a gun in the first place was because he felt like she needed protection because he had saved her from this incident. There was an SA incident that happened just a few days before she shot and killed him, and he came and saved her. So there is surveillance footage of the aftermath of this supposed SA attack where Jasmine is apparently crying in a car.
Can you just clarify for me what was really happening at that water taxi? Why were you so inconsolable that morning?
So I was attacked at a party, and it was Henry that I called to come and help me. I was meant to stay the night there. I felt very uncomfortable. I was in a very bad situation with another person that was at the party, and he came and took me away from a dangerous situation.
She says a man followed her into a room and was quite aggressive with her in a sexual manner. After fighting the man off, she said she called her protector, Henry Jamont, and she says he drove an hour to come pick her up. Jasmine ends up being charged with manslaughter by negligence. And the maximum time you could do is 9 months. And the fine for that is about 10,000 Belizean dollars, which I think is about 5,000 US dollars.
This morning, socialite Jasmine Harton waking up behind bars, facing charges in the death of a top cop.
Harton was taken to prison on a golf cart wearing skinny jeans. She's a rich and beautiful socialite who lived in the lap of luxury. Today, she finds herself an inmate in a sweltering prison, reputed to be one of the toughest in the world. The prison that was featured on the Netflix documentary series, Inside the World's Toughest Prisons.
Jasmine ends up pleading not guilty. And then there's this whole drama with the bail.
Bail has been denied. We appeal to the Supreme Court, as is normal.
First it was denied, then it was granted.
Miss Harton, do you have anything to say? Miss Harton, do you have anything to say?
Harton's bail was set at 30,000 Belize dollars plus one surety of the same amount cash deposit and consists of 8 conditions, including surrendering all travel documents.
But then, right, the person who paid the bail, like the hotel manager, wanted to revoke it.
And the reason for that is because of this letter signed by Frank Habet. He is the general manager of Grand Colony Island Villas. He deposited $30,000 for her bail. In this letter, Habet tells Justice Lord that Harton appeared at Grand Colony, behaved disorderly,
because Jasmine ends up going to the hotel she owns with Andrew Ashcroft and confronting him.
Yeah, he's inside hiding. Nothing says I can't be in here, so I'm here.
And there he is, Andrew Ashcroft, the son of a billionaire British lord.
Why won't you let me see the kids, Andrew? Why won't you let me see the children? Why are you stopping me from being at my house and seeing my kids, Andrew? Andrew's running so I can't see my children. Security is literally stopping me from seeing my children right now.
So after she did that, the manager, I guess, felt like she was making a scene and she was erratic and that she might be a flight risk and they wanted to get their money back.
It is for this reason, he told Justice Lord, that he believes that Harton is quite capable of not showing up for trial and as such wants his cash deposit and the surety revoked.
You can't just come out court and say, I take back my bail because I think the lady might want to go to Canada or might this or might that. And then you just send her to jail after that? Excuse me?
The Ashcroft family, they actually, instead of like using their power to support her, they more saw her as a liability. And they were like, she's out here shooting police chief in this country and we have all these investments here. And so they're like, we're going to drop her. Andrew then fights for custody for the kids and that becomes a whole drama.
If you'd hear the Ashcroft Alliance TV station Channel 5's version, she saw her children at least once. But according to her, that solitary visit occurring shortly after her release was the moment she claims Andrew chose to deliver custody papers.
When he gave me those papers, I was shocked, hurt, confused.
Andrew Ashcroft, he is the son of British billionaire Michael Ashcroft, and this morning he appeared in the family court in Belize City. After a brief hearing, Ashcroft slowly exits the family court before dashing into his car.
Mr. Andrew, do you have anything to say for the cameras?
Ashcrofts wants full custody of the twins. In his claim, he calls Hartin a druggie and a drunkard. Today, Hartin was more measured in her appearance.
In my opinion, a very unfair outcome, but I don't think I can speak right now.
This is when it gets crazy, okay? And it spirals because she gets arrested again. For what? For attempting to put out a hit on the current police chief and the judge that's overseeing her custody case. Jasmine hired this security guard, okay? His name was Lionel Neal, but he goes by Piggy, okay? Jasmine accused Piggy of SAing her. She said that he was working security for her, and one night he came into her room and he tried to SA her, R-word her, basically. He then gets arrested, and while he's arrested for this, he is the one who says that, by the way, she came to me and asked me if I knew people who could kill the police chief and the judge who ruled in her custody case. He said, quote, that he overheard her saying she hoped all these assholes would die. So Jasmine responds and she says, this is crazy. He's just doing this in retaliation because I, told the police that he tried to R-word me. And so this is the quote from Jasmine. She says, one crazy man is spreading lies about me. I'm like, this is absurd. So I made sure I went to the police station. I filed the report. He was detained later that day. It's the biggest made up story ever. There is no grounds, no proof, nothing. Piggy says, no, I didn't SA her. Actually, we had a relationship, a sexual romantic relationship for months. And then all of a sudden she turned on me. Eventually they both end up getting released. Piggy and Jasmine get released. Piggy is not allowed to get near Jasmine, and those are the conditions of his release. And she posts bail pending an investigation into whether or not she tried to put out a hit on the police chief. Well, the police chief, he comes out and he is saying that, he doesn't find it hard to believe that she put out a hit on him because she sends him like these crazy text messages.
But I can tell you that I personally have received text messages from her, some very disturbing text messages. This was prior to the allegation. And to every time I receive these text messages, I do not answer her because I do not want to be in a back and forth with nobody. And so when the information came that certain threats were made, I was not surprised because I have received numerous messages from her. I personally have received a number of text messages from Miss Hartin. How she get my number, I don't know. But she have found ways to message me prior to the alleged threat being made. And that's why I have no difficulty believing that she might have made certain threats because of the content of the messages I had received from her. Yes, she have sent me a number of disturbing messages, yes.
I mean, the whole thing is crazy. Why is someone in the middle of an investigation texting the police chief? I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of like mixing, right? Like she's in with the police and the whole thing. The police chief comes out and says, actually, we conducted an investigation and there is no truth to the claims that Jasmine tried to put out a hit on me and the judge in the custody case. It was baseless, and basically they clear her of this. In the meantime, Jasmine is now free. She's awaiting trial and she's still in Belize, and she's doing a bunch of interviews. Why? Because videos of her are leaking. Videos like her shooting guns. Her whole defense is that she didn't know how to handle a gun and it was an accident. She was trying to load it and she just didn't know what she was doing. So then this video surfaces of her like shooting a watermelon and doing target practice, and people are like, wait, are you really that what's the word? Are you that oh my God, what's the word? I want to say the opposite of proficient. Like, do you really not know how to handle a gun? Because it seems like you do in this watermelon video is what I'm trying to say.
What that video doesn't show you is the 10 times I tried to hit that watermelon and missed.
And then the whole party girl thing. This video surfaces of her hanging from the rafters, and people are saying that she's like a cokehead and a party animal, and she was probably coked out and drunk when she shot Henry, and like, were they dating? And she can actually really handle a gun. So was it this crazy accident, or did she straight up just like shoot him in the back of the head, like execution style? In the streets, they were calling her a cokehead cop killer.
Mr. Thompson, if you would, give us the details of what you witnessed involving Miss Hartin and a weapon.
We had a ex-security guard. He's no longer here. He was just temporary. He was cleaning his firearm. Went from, I don't know from where exactly Miss Hartin came, and she just asked if she could clean her weapon also. She went back, got her weapon, came back to the unit, and they both started cleaning the weapons. All of a sudden, I heard that bang. When I heard that bang, I just lifted up my head. And when I looked over, I just saw them standing there in shock, both of them. And like I said, I left after that. I didn't have any word with no one about nothing. That was about it. Yeah, she said, I'm sorry, it was an accident.
You heard her say,
I'm sorry, it was an accident.
I'm sorry, that was an accident.
Then there were rumors that actually they were playing a pistol game, and that like somehow something went wrong with this game, or maybe, you know, part of the game was the risk, and that's how she shot him. Like, she didn't mean to do it, but like she was playing a game where it could happen. That was another rumor that people were talking about. And so, but the most thing that people bring up when they say that she's not telling the truth is that she's changed her story. They're like, if it really was an accident, why didn't she just say so in the beginning? And so a reporter asked Jasmine that.
I don't remember saying that.
So that's Jasmine's side of the story. As for Henry's family, they believe that this was murder.
My brother was shot behind the ear, execution style. Jasmine Hartin should be charged for murder and not manslaughter. She should be charged for murder.
Murder. Murder.
And they don't believe the accident story at all. And they're very upset about it.
She gave so many stories, so who knows when she's telling the truth.
So it gets even crazier because Jasmine does an interview and she makes an accusation. She says that when she was in jail, when she was accused of putting a hit out on the police and stuff, she said that the police tried to set her up so that they could shoot and kill her. She says, they came to me and said, you're free to go. I went to walk out the front door and they said, no, 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 go out the back door. This is of the jail cell. She said, I knew exactly what they meant. The police are notorious in Belize and it's a trick they use. They typically either shoot you dead or arrest you again and hit you with more charges for trying to escape. I said, not a chance in hell. I know exactly what you're up to. You guys will shoot me in the back. They started laughing at me and they said, you're smart, Hartin. They also wouldn't give me food or water and they made me clean out the toilet with my bare hands. It was disgusting. Once that news story came out, the police chief, he responded to it.
That's the most stupidest comment I've ever heard. If that were to happen, the officers certainly will not have a way out of that. And they would be charged for murder. Cell block have no back door. We have one way in, one way out. So again, it goes to show that what she said is a bunch of nonsense. And I don't think anybody in their right mind would believe what she has said.
There was this scandal, this topless photo scandal that happened because since the Ashcroft family dropped her, she's been living in this shack with her friend in Belize. And there's always like paparazzi or whatever outside. I guess she did like a what do you call it? Photo op? Is that what they call it? It seems like it was staged. I don't know, you tell me. So that's basically the latest development in this case. Her trial isn't until spring of 2023. They haven't released any of the evidence or the forensics or any of that. All that we know is from what I've told you, her story. There really isn't another story. We don't know Henry's side of the story. There were no witnesses. So we'll see what the forensics say. So those are the facts. Now let's talk about the theories. There's accident, murder or intentional. And the third one is that it's a setup, which this is a little bit of both. This is what Jasmine says it's that she was set up by the family to ruin her for the custody battle or whatever, something like that. With the accident theory, they asked an expert, given the conditions, they were drinking, it was dark, we don't know how well she can handle a firearm, but let's say she could handle a firearm, but she was still drinking, so she was impaired in that way. And then also it was really dark. Supposedly just the moonlight is all they had. Is it likely? She describes how he was teaching her how to load the clip and empty the clip. And at one point she thought the clip was empty and she put it in, and then somehow, some way, like the trigger was pulled or the gun went off, is what she says. Like, is this something that could happen? And according to this expert, yes, it is. If someone is impaired drinking and they don't know, maybe there's still one in the chamber, is that what it's called? I don't know. Or maybe she thought the clip was empty, but really it wasn't empty because she was impaired. Like, it all goes back to the fact of she was impaired and it was dark. And so, yeah, experts believe this could have totally happened. As for the position of where it hit, it's weird because it's like you're giving him a massage as he's like handling the gun, and then he passed it to you and then you grabbed it and it went off like that. Is that what happened? I think that's what she's trying to say, because that explains why she was behind him and why, you know, the bullet went in his right ear. Is she's behind him giving him a shoulder massage. So I don't know. That's like the accident theory. It really, you can't say it's impossible, is what I'm trying to say. It's possible. Is it likely? Do the other pieces of evidence point to that same thing? I don't know, because if she knew how to handle a gun, let's go to the murder theory. Like, why would she want to murder him? He's her friend, he's her protector. Some people think maybe he made a pass at her or tried to do something with her and she got upset and shot him. But then how would it be in the back? Wouldn't it be more if he was coming towards her? I don't know. The other thing too is like, what if she just like was like a cold-hearted killer and just like shot him in the back of the head? That's what his family say, execution style. It's possible. Was this something she planned? Why would she do that if he drove an hour to help her and they were meeting up, and like, was there some sort of thing going on between them and she decided to kill him? Were they playing a pistol game? That would kind of go back. Well, is that an accident? Maybe not, because it's like, what are they playing? Russian roulette? I don't know. And then the whole setup theory. The whole idea with the setup theory, this is something Jasmine mentioned. She feels like the Ashcroft family did it because they wanted to get custody of the kids, but that doesn't really make sense either, because in Belize, I guess the mom gets sole custody, and maybe they were trying to avoid some kind of child support thing. I don't know. That setup theory is kind of strange to me, because how could they set it up that she shoots him? Like what? They rigged the gun? It doesn't make any sense. So that one is kind of like weird, but I don't know why she mentioned that. She feels like it was a setup. And she talks about how they were walking to the pier and Henry didn't have his gun with him, and then he decided, oh, I need to get my gun. So what? Like, Henry decided to like sacrifice himself for the Ashcrofts for the custody thing? That sounds stupid. Okay, sorry. I mean, I usually try to stay neutral, but that, I feel even stupid bringing it up. But she did mention it, so I feel like I have to say it. Anyway, I would like to know what you guys think. Do you think this was an accident or not? I am kind of like leaning slightly more towards accident, but there's certain things that are not 100% sitting right with me either. And I wonder if maybe if she was on coke, because they threatened her with a cocaine possession charge. Let's say she was coked out and drunk and they had a romantic relationship and things got heated between them. Maybe they were doing what she said, which is him teaching her how to use the gun and stuff. But what if like she snapped and shot him? even though that was not the intention. Like I don't see it as being premeditated. I would see it as being like this crazy emotional thing that happens given the situation. That I can believe. The accident thing too, like if she's giving him a massage and he passes the gun and she's drunk and her finger slipped, and then maybe she said someone in a boat shot him because she didn't even want to admit that she shot him at all. But then later on, she realized she had to come up with a story and either told the truth or made up a lie because she did shoot and kill him. So that's my take on that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Lumino for sponsoring this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. I had it figured.